Hi. Um, I wanted to just take a few minutes to talk about modesty. It's something I've thought a lot about over the years, and I just wanted to share some of my experience in thinking about and studying about modesty. So I think first we talk about it mainly in terms of how we dress and with regards to women. So I think that in itself is a problem. And there have been some justifications for modesty in the past. First, I used to hear a lot about the way that girls and women would dress would tempt boys and men. And this is not a woman's job, and nor can they control how others are being tempted. And making women in control of sexuality when they don't have control over it, that didn't resonate with me. That didn't feel right or true. This also insinuates that part of women's body are tempting and thus are bad in a way. So we put women in charge of things they don't have control over. And in some ways, we start saying that women's bodies are not good. And when we hear these reasons for modesty, it can feel easier justified to just neglect the whole concept of modesty. We see that it's harmful. And so it's easy to say, well, that's a harmful concept. Modesty must be bad. And I was thinking about this and going thinking about what modesty does. We're fought. Um, I was tempted to just reject the notion of modesty. I thought being enforced in ways that seemed to hurt others and just seemed to put them in places where they can control. But instead, I decided to figuratively step back, and I thought, I don't believe that these are good reasons for modesty. And we were counseled to be modest. So, how could I meld these things together? How could they both be true? If I believed um, that we were counseled to be modest, but I really felt badly about the reasons that we were given. And so, they're both true, then are there other reasons for modesty besides those? And to be honest, it really took years to articulate, to separate out what was bothering me. Could I think that accept modesty, but not the reasons that so many of us had been given? I, I it out fairly simple and thinking to kind of come to this, but I think it's important to be able to say there are reasons, but perhaps those aren't reasons. So in my study too, a number of years ago, I wasn't able to come up with a lot of really good, well articulated reasons that resonated with me on modesty. So that was challenging. But because of that, I had to turn to God in prayer because what I was reading and hearing, it didn't sit true with me. So over time and thinking about it, trying to be open and curious, what resonated more with me was that modesty, how we are supposed to judge others. I think that we can see and it can be an easy way to judge somebody, it can be an easy way to tell if somebody is good or safe. Uh, but I felt like that's a tempting way to use modesty, but I also felt like that is not what it was for. I To me it felt more true to think that it was a reminder of my own relationship with Heavenly Father. That as I took care to think about how I was dressing and how I put myself together every day, and that sometimes it was different from others, that it was a reminder to me of my choice to dedicate my life to Heavenly Father. And that resonated a lot more with me when I made it more of a personal choice between myself and God rather than a way for me to look at and judge other people or for them to look at and judge me. Now, with that being said, I still don't think that I have a complete understanding of why it's important. And part of religion is having faith, and that we sometimes do things that we don't completely understand. But I also think that with that, Heavenly Father doesn't always expect us to not understand it. I think faith, when we don't understand and He doesn't tell us everything, can be an invitation for us to study, to grow, and to come into closer relationship with Him. So I feel more comfortable with the idea of modesty. I don't know that I completely understand it. I still see it being used maybe as a weapon instead of as a way to come into Christ. And that concerns me. But overall, I am grateful for the opportunity I had to think deeply, to study, and to come closer to Christ in that. And I think that it's not just modest, other things allow us to grow and for becoming closer to our Heavenly Father and sometimes to others around us. So I just wanted to share that, and bye.